There is no God, because if there is no heaven.
Oh my God.
Prepare to grip the edge of your seat with Netflix's top 10 horror thrillers. From relentless suspense to shocking twists, these chilling picks blur the line between fear and adrenaline. Number 10, Old People.
Thou shalt honor the old, for they are great in number. And one day you will all be like them.
When Ella returns to her childhood village with her 2 kids for her sister's wedding, she expects nostalgia, not a bloodbath. But as night falls, the once peaceful town erupts into chaos as the elderly, silent, forgotten, and enraged begin a brutal uprising against the youth who cast them aside. Trapped in a crumbling estate, Ella must protect her children while unraveling the sinister force behind the carnage. The film's slow, suffocating tension builds with every creak of a cane and shuffle of slippers, turning the aged into something almost supernatural. Director Andy Fetcher crafts a haunting allegory of generational neglect, where those who've been ignored the longest finally speak, in Screams. Number 9, The Bridge Curse. At a university in Taiwan, a notorious legend haunts a secluded campus bridge, one that claims a vengeful ghost waits for anyone who dares to cross it at midnight. A group of students stages a live stream challenge, mocking the tale, until the night turns real and something begins hunting them one by one. Years later, a journalist digging into the unsolved mystery uncovers footage that blurs the line between fact and folklore. As timelines collide, the truth behind the curse reveals itself in fragments soaked with fear. The Bridge Curse blends urban legend with supernatural horror, crafting a layered, time-hopping nightmare that coils tighter with every revelation. Number 8, Meander. After accepting a ride from a mysterious stranger, Lisa wakes up trapped in a narrow metallic tunnel with no memory of how she got there. A digital countdown pulses on a glowing wristband, and when it hits 0, something deadly is unleashed. Each chamber ahead brings new horrors. Searing flames, bone-crushing walls, and mind-bending puzzles, all designed to test her will to live. As she crawls deeper into the mechanical nightmare, fragments of her past resurface, revealing a grief she can't outrun. Alone, bleeding and desperate, Lisa must confront more than just the maze. She must face herself. Directed by Mathieu Turi, Meander is a nerve-wracking descent into claustrophobic terror where survival isn't just a goal, it's a reckoning. Number 7, In the Tall Grass.
That sounded like me.
This field doesn't make any sense.
Name one thing in here that does.
Becky, 6 months pregnant, and her younger brother Cal are on the road when they hear a boy's desperate cries for help coming from a vast field of towering grass. They venture in to rescue him, only to find themselves trapped in a shifting, supernatural maze that warps space and time. Every path twists back on itself, voices echo from nowhere, and separation becomes inevitable. As they pursue the boy, they cross paths with his parents and a mysterious rock said to grant insight to those who dare touch it. But the rock's knowledge comes at a terrible price, and every character is drawn deeper into the grass's maddening loops. The film turns pastoral fear into cosmic dread, where escape seems as elusive as the truths buried beneath the stalks. Number 6, I Sell the Dead.
The corpse you steal has enough life in it. You can make a killing.
We struck gold with the undead.
As execution looms, grave robber Arthur Blake makes one final bargain. He will confess his life's deeds to Father Duffy, but only if he can tell the whole twisted story first. Over the course of his confession, Blake recounts a bizarre career digging up corpses for profit alongside his partner Willie Grimes, selling bodies to unscrupulous doctors and stumbling into the uncanny when some of the dead refuse to stay dead. They face zombies, monstrous reanimations, and rival grave-snatching gangs in a Victorian underworld where death is just the beginning. The narrative hops between vignettes of terror, absurdity, and dark humor, weaving a wild tapestry of gothic macabre. The film blends period horror and comic grotesquerie into a morbidly playful nightmare. Before we move to number 5, I want to ask you something. I recently started a new channel called VHSscreams. It's where I tell true, terrifying stories mixed with chilling fiction, all in first person. So you feel like you're living the nightmare yourself. Each story pulls you deeper. The sounds, the fear, the moments that stay with you long after it's over. It would honestly mean the world if you checked it out. The link's in the description and at the end of this video. Only if you'd like to, no pressure. Just if you want to step a little further into the dark with me. Number 5, The Warning.
Los números no mienten.
When 10-year-old Nico finds a cryptic note in a magazine warning him not to visit the local convenience store on his birthday, he becomes haunted by a fate he can't escape. His mother, Lucia, torn between skepticism and dread, insists he face the store to prove his fears wrong, only to awaken a time-twisting chain of events that link past tragedy to present terror. Across parallel timelines, the film unspools the story of John, a man plagued by guilt who once uttered the same warning to protect another life. As the threads bind, Nico's choices ripple backward and forward, revealing that fate might be a mirror, and sometimes the future demands blood from the past. Number 4, Control. Nella Awasti and her partner Joe are the darling influencer couple until she discovers Joe cheating during a live stream. Shattered, she downloads Control, an AI assistant app that promises to erase every trace of him from her digital life. But as Control burrows deeper, deleting photos, editing videos, even manipulating reality, Nella realizes she hasn't just erased Joe from her online world. She may have unleashed something that controls her entire existence. As the app's grip tightens, the boundaries between virtual choices and real-world consequences collapse. The film becomes a tense psychological tech horror. Every notification, selfie, and code becomes a weapon. Number 3, 1922.
Woman, that'd be crazy to leave a nice house like this one.
In the desolate plains of Nebraska, farmer Wilfred James confesses to the murder of his wife Arlette, a crime he committed with the help of his own son to keep their land. But burying a body doesn't mean burying guilt, and what follows is a slow, rotting descent into madness. As the rats come and shadows lengthen, Wilfred's once simple life unravels into a living hell of paranoia, hauntings, and decay. The cornfields whisper, the house creaks with secrets, and something far worse than justice begins to claw its way up from the soil. Adapted from Stephen King's novella, this grim tale captures rural dread with suffocating intensity. Directed by Zach Hilditch, 1922 is a bleak, ghost-soaked confessional of guilt and consequence where the past doesn't stay buried and the dead never rest easy. Number 2, Mayhem.
I just kicked his ass!
Derek Cho, a corporate lawyer, is framed by a colleague and unceremoniously fired, only to discover the office building is quarantined for a deadly outbreak of the ID7/Red-Eye virus that strips people of their inhibitions. As chaos erupts above and below, Derek and Melanie, a former client with her own vendetta, must claw their way from the bowels of the structure to the executive floor. The building becomes a blood-splattered war zone of rage, betrayal, and savage impulse. Director Joe Lynch amplifies the havoc with pulsing violence and dark humor, turning the office into a gladiatorial battlefield. Mayhem becomes a twisted social satire where your worst self is unlocked, and sometimes that monster wins. Number 1, The Wonder.
Will you help me? You don't understand us.
In the Irish Midlands, 1862, the remote village of the O'Donnells becomes the site of a suspicious miracle. 11-year-old Anna claims she has eaten nothing for months and yet remains alive. English nurse Lib Wright is summoned to stay with her for 2 weeks, tasked with watching day and night, reporting to a religious commission, and separating devotion from deception. As Lib peels back the layers of Anna's faith, family secrets, and the villagers' desperate beliefs, she confronts her own haunted past. The town's tension thickens with each vigil, and the line between sacred and sinister blurs in whispered prayers and quiet cruelty. The Wonder is a slow, dread-steeped tale of belief and brokenness, where trauma and faith wage war in the human heart. Here are 4 other movies you have to see. Under the Shadow. Set in post-revolution Tehran during the Iran-Iraq War, a mother and her daughter struggle to survive amidst falling bombs and rising tensions. But when a missile strikes their apartment building, something ancient and malevolent is unleashed. Whispers in the walls and eerie visions begin to plague them both. As the city burns above, a jinn stirs below, feeding on fear and grief, the devil on trial.
The Warrens argue it was the demonic influence now inside Johnson that drove him to kill.
This unsettling docudrama explores the real-life 1981 murder trial where demonic possession was used as a defense. Through first-person accounts, reenactments, and archival footage, the film reconstructs the events that led to a brutal killing. The victim, the accused, and the infamous Warrens all become entangled in a tale of fear, faith, and manipulation. Apostle. In 1905, Thomas Richardson journeys to a remote island to rescue his sister from a mysterious cult. Disguised as a convert, he uncovers a horrific truth buried beneath the village's rituals. The land is sick, the gods are angry, and blood must flow to keep them appeased. As madness spreads, Thomas must choose between salvation and sacrifice. The babysitter.
B, call us if there's any trouble, okay? Cole, don't cause any trouble.
I bet B has boys over at your place all the time. That's what babies...
12-year-old Cole thinks his babysitter B is perfect, funny, cool, and wildly charismatic. But one night, he sneaks downstairs and witnesses B leading a satanic blood ritual in his living room. Now hunted by a group of deranged teens, Cole must outwit and outrun them before sunrise. What begins as a childhood crush turns into a gory battle for survival.